8-0 on the year. 8-0 on the year. 8-0 this week.
The week.
Yeah. Much better than that this year. What did you tell me earlier? They have one loss?
Two
losses the entire year.
They've lost 2 times the entire year.
Well, this week they've outscored their 8 opponents 113-13. Bracket play 4-0. 42-12 they've outscored their opponents. Pool play, listen to this number. In pool play in their 4-0 mark, they outscored their opponents 71-7. You heard that right, 71-7.
This is a team that loves to play in front. They're not used to playing from behind, though we did see them fall behind in the first game this morning and stage a comeback. So that showed they're capable of doing it. But the big thing that teams talked about this week was to try to force the Astros to play from behind because they don't do it very often, and they want to see how they're going to react.
Well, if you weren't with us, maybe you're just getting in on Father's Day of 2021. Happy Father's Day to all of you out there watching. Malachi Washington started with a strike on the outside corner. East Cobb's Astros Orange rallied for 5 runs in the bottom of the final inning to earn their trip into this championship game.
In that game, they were down to their last strike.
Numerous times. Yeah, they were retired. The first 2 men were retired in the bottom of the final inning. So they were down to their last out and last strike numerous times. Washington's gone on strikeouts, swinging. Yet then got a walk, a single, had a man reach on an E5, another single, a hit batter, and consecutive singles to close out the ball game. 5 runs unanswered with 2 strikes, with 2 outs, and down to their final strike numerous times. Yet the Astros Orange come back and get into the national championship. Here's Caden Dawson. Ground ball at second. Rick, would it be strange if I walked out there during play and took a picture of Dawson's swing, just videoed it so I could take it home and show it to my son?
Yeah.
Would that'd be too strange? All right.
We could get you a media pass and maybe get a video camera, like the media credentials that you could get out there, maybe in the batter's box.
I want to go stand in the opposite batter's box is what I mean. That wouldn't be safe.
That might be a little tough.
Here's Vaughn Howard. We'll go back and watch this, and I'll get him to take a good look at it. My son is, both of my sons are baseball obsessed. I got a righty and a lefty in the household.
Oh, that a baby.
My oldest, Jax, is a lefty, and man, does he already have a beautiful, beautiful swing.
They always do.
I know. I mean, literally, every left-hander.
On accident.
I know. You don't have to tell me. He's already got a gorgeous swing. He's more laid back about the game, where my youngest, he's the bull, the right-hander. Yeah. He's the bull. He's more of the meaner one. He's the guy who just kind of barnstorms his way through things. 1-2, fouled away.
Well, I mean, just anything you do when you're talking about lefties and righties, everybody says, lefties got such a, beautiful swing. I've never heard anybody say a righty's got a beautiful swing ever.
That's right.
And then you go out on the mound and they talk about a crafty lefty, right? He's crafty. Right. And then there's no adjective for the righty.
That's a fair ball. Indeed, there it is, down into the corner. Howard headed for the second base bag. Misplayed a little bit in right. Howard's now headed for third. Here comes the relay throw, and he's safe. It's a 2-out triple for Vaughn Howard. Perhaps you could score that a double, and an error on the right fielder. But that would be close.
I think he was going all the way. I don't think it mattered if he bobbled it or not. I was paying attention to Coach Etheridge down there, and he was waving him the whole way.
Vaughn flying around the base paths. So a little 2-out trouble if you're California. 2-out hits are golden if you're Georgia. Carson Calvo with an RBI opportunity. Off speed, dropped it in. Although Estevez will have to be careful. He telegraphed that one a tad bit. Lower body kept the same speed. His arms slowed down just a little bit. Swing and a miss. What a great job of coming back there and getting out of the inning for Estevez. A 2-out triple, but nothing doing for the Astros in the bottom of the first. We're scoreless.
Let's go.
Fans, the New Year's Baseball Fest is your team's guaranteed greatest way to wrap up the year with the best baseball, New Year's celebrations, and a world-class family vacation destination. Held at the beautiful all-turf Panama City Beach Sports Complex, this 4-game guaranteed tournament's packed with fun for teams from ages 8U through 18U. When you're not wrapping up the year with a great game that we all love, families are invited to join the Baseball Fest crew to ring in the new year at the Panama City Beach Pier for the annual Peach Ball Drop Party on December 31st. Join the fun at baseballfest.com. A solid single to start things for ZT Elite. Max Lopez reaches for California here in the second. Hoacola now.
Nice pitch, Jose. Nice pitch, Jose.
Dubront starts in with a strike.
Dubrant's what I would call sneaky fast. That ball gets up on top of you in a heartbeat. It doesn't look like he's throwing 77, but it gets there pretty quick.
Hoacola is hit by a pitch in their first game here on Field 5, their win over Keens Elite. Started that ball game, of course. Pitched nearly the entire way before giving way to Estevez. Swing and a miss. Second strikeout of the ball game for Dubront, the first swinging. Beauty right there. Jaden Estevez, speaking of Estevez, as I mentioned a moment ago, closed out game one, or their elimination ball game win. Now starting here in this championship game, the national championship of 12U In travel ball select, Dubron has to back up a couple of steps, so stay with it. Throw over to first. Nice has it for the out. Estevez is retired 1-3 in your scorecard. Moving down to second is Lopez. And the first man in scoring position for California in the championship. Here's Eric Zadunik. Zadunik, 1 for 2 in their elimination bracket ball game here earlier on field 5. Had a single, scored a run. Also was a strikeout victim. What an entertaining affair that was. That bring Coach Etheridge shooting out of the dugout. Wonder if we got some miscommunication there.
Looks like we probably got some cross signs here.
Yeah.
Pitcher and catcher are not on the same page. Good time to go out there and just make sure everybody's on the same page. Let's go first sign, second sign, whatever we're going to do. And you know, you're early in the ball game. Runs are going to be at a premium today in this game.
Hold on for a second.
Dubron. Swing and a miss.
You can't be stuck between the bag and the runner.
1-2.
Well, then go talk to him.
Our live mics are really picking up the atmosphere.
Yeah, Coach Etheridge is communicating to his shortstop that he don't want him caught in that proverbial no man's land in the pitch between the runner and the bag. Wants him to get back into his position. You can see Contreras flashing signs to the pitcher. If they're going to put a pickoff play on, or if he can go to the plate. That way he won't be caught out of position on the pitch.
Well, you couldn't have paid for better weather. What a day. Swing and a miss. Zadunik is down on strikeout. Third strikeout for Dubron, second of the inning. First man reaches, and he's stranded. Through 1.5, we're scoreless. Bottom half of the second inning. Line to the left. We start it with a bang. Second hit in 3 at-bats for East Cobb's Astros. Had a runner reach with 2 men out on a triple in the bottom of the first. He was stranded. That was William Cutshaw who just delivered that single. Now here's Jude Harris. A lot of chatter coming from the kids. I love it.
You know, when you're the number 1 and number 2 team in the country, as these guys are, surprisingly enough, a lot of these kids know each other, even though they're on different coasts. California, Georgia, with the way social media is and technology is today with Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff, these kids already know who each other is even before they get here.
This day has a chance to be something very, very special. One of the greatest, certainly deepest 12U Travel Ball Select National Championship fields of all time. 2 teams meeting in the National Championship who have been very dramatic, very dominant, well, and dramatic for that matter, this week, both with walk-off wins today. Number 1 versus number 2 in America. And, as you mentioned a moment ago, Georgia versus California. So many storylines. Right field and deep. Way back there. Gone! Jude Harris sneaks the ball over the fence and right. Look at the men celebrate. I don't know who's happier, Rick. The players or the parents?
Oh man, I tell you what, that's a tough one. But the players are extremely happy for Harris as he gets one. And again, we got to talk about, if you guys are just joining us, the wind is blowing out to right field, and that might have been a difference there between the ball hitting the top of the fence and getting out for a 2-run home run.
Here's Dubront now, who takes a fastball in on the hands for ball 1. Now the chant comes from the fan base and the players. Jose, 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 Jose.
Oh,
Dubront is robbed it short by his counterpart in Seward.
I tell you, Chris, I've watched a lot of shortstops play today. None of them has impressed me as much as that young man. I've seen him turn double plays, make plays like that all week long. He's one of the smoothest fielders I have seen, not only this week, but in my 10 years of doing this. That man, young man out there, has incredible hands and incredible feet. He's got a bright future.
Hayes McGinnis now, the second baseman. Hayes trying to win a title. Take back to show to his older brother, Michael McGinnis, who's a fine high school athlete in the Peach State. Left field, way back there, tracking. Oh, he took it away!
What a catch!
Rosales took away a home run from McGinnis. Hang a star on that one, baby.
That was outstanding. I've got to see this again.
Oh.
Wow. Chris, I thought when that ball got up in that wind, I didn't think it was going to stay in the park.
What a play by Adrian Rosales. And here's Austin Neese, who flies one out to right, moving back on it and back on it. And making the catch is Ho'okola. Well, that was a fun inning to call. A single and a two-run homer, and then a fine gem of a defensive play. 2-0 through 2 in the bluegrass state of Kentucky. Back in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, where the wind is playing havoc with our paperwork here at the scores table behind home plate. Rick Goff and Chris Mooneyham with the play-by-play story. Thanks for joining us. By the way, I got to give you an update here now. That was Aiden Rosano who made that defensive play in center field. Aiden Rosano. Now that we've got the lineup correct here. And what a play it was. Without question, one of the top defensive plays of the week here in the national championships.
Outstanding. Outstanding catch. He took a home run away from McGinnis. And I was just about to make a comment about McGinnis will have one up on his big brother. And lo and behold, it gets taken away. And I tell you what, Chris, I don't know if you caught it, but McGinnis was almost at second base. And I give McGinnis a lot of credit. He tipped his hat to the center fielder on that. I don't know if you caught that. But, man, what a great gesture by the young man. Appreciating a good play when you see one.
Yeah. Aaron Garcia, Zion Martinez, and the aforementioned Aiden Rosano. So congratulations on an amazing defensive play, young Mr. Rosano. 8th, 9th, and 10th place man in the lineup.
And Chris, you know how the baseball gods, they act in a funny way. You know, we'll see what the young man does when he comes up to the plate, but usually somebody makes a play like that.
Yep.
They come up in the next half of the inning, usually something big happens.
No, Rick, you don't have to tell me about the baseball gods. I'm a Braves fan. They've left us to die this year. We had our shot last year. Had the Dodgers dead to rights. And the baseball gods said, oh, gosh, I'm sorry. You really should have finished that off. 3-2 count. Got him.
Well, at least you're in the playoffs, Chris. You could try being a Tiger fan like me. And we've been dwelling in the cellar for quite some time now. But things are looking bright. We've got some young pitchers coming in, some young hitters. So
that's right. Hopefully
this reminds me of that Braves team actually a few years ago when Acuna and all those guys came up. Looks very similar, so I'm hoping we get the same results.
Zion Martinez now. Has Cabrera straightened it out?
You know,
he was struggling early.
They're appreciative to Miguel,
right?
And he's just riding his time out to get 3,000 hits and 500 home runs.
Well struck into the gap in left center field. That ball going to get over Washington and to the wall. Misplays it a bit. which will certainly allow Martinez to get down to the second base bag. So a one-out hit for Martinez. Now in scoring position, Raiden Rosano. And here is the kid who made that incredible defensive play last half inning. And who knows, by the way, look, that was with one out. Remember, Cutshaw started the inning with a single. Harris hit the two-run homer. Dubront lined the ball to the shortstop that was caught. He hit that one really well. So,
two fine defensive plays in that inning.
That's right. McGinnis put a charge into his, obviously, because it was a robbed home run. Who knows down the road in this ball game how big that play could be for Rosano and his team.
That's the difference between these high-level elite teams and then just your everyday weekend teams. They make the plays like that.
That's right.
And honestly, they expect to make those plays.
Right field. When pushing it, it'll stay in fair territory. The catch is made by the right fielder. No problem for Dawson. He'll quickly get the ball back into the infield, holding the runner at second with 2 men out. Well, Layden did a good job of staying with that pitch on the outside corner, forcing it where it was sort of pitched to him, out to right. But a good right fielder out there, and Dawson able to corral it. Back to the top of the order, Dylan Seward.
Hey, good wheels, hey, good wheels.
Off the corner. California shortstop retired on a 6-3 ground out to start the ball game. Our third of 5 broadcasts here on the .com today. We'll have the 11U National Championship game coming up next, followed by our finale broadcast, the 10U National Championship. Got any little bits on either of those matchups you'd like to share with folks, or you want to keep them in suspense?
Well, we're still waiting on to see what the matchups are. There's games being played now to kind of find out who's going to be in those championship games. We got games going on all over the park today, and so we still don't know who. We know who one of the 11-year-old teams are. That's ZT Prospects out of California. They will be one of the representatives, but the 11-year-old semifinal, so to speak, is still going on.
And that ZT club is connected,
yes,
to this elite. Yeah.
Yep, it's the same program.
Yeah. 3-1 count. Left side, that ball's deep. It's hooking towards the corner and caught. Oh, baby! Great stick-to-itiveness, tremendous concentration there by Harris to track that ball down into the corner and make this play.
Boy, that was an inning full of defense there, man. That's, as a baseball purist, you like to see those types of plays, especially from 12-year-old young men.
Bottom of the third coming up in a 2-0 ball game. Bottom half of the third inning in a 2-0 ball game. Really nip and tuck ball game here in this national championship. A little bit of a change of pace. Of course, just as I say that, we'll have an offensive explosion. Deep to left and a catch made out there in left. A good defensive play by Lopez. That'll be the retirement of Jose Contreras. Get us back to the top of the order in Malachi Washington for the state of Georgia.
What is that now, Chris? 3-4 batters, deep fly balls to the outfield?
Indeed. Yep. McGinnis was robbed of a home run. Neese hit a really nice ball out there to right. And now Contreras. I pop back up second. The wind plays around with it. But in the end, Garcia able to make the play.
There's that wind we were referring to earlier.
We've been talking about it since we first got out here this morning, and it steadily has become more and more of a conversation.
We've seen one ball misplayed in the Texas-Florida Canes game. The left fielder got a little tied up with the wind there and dropped in for a double. Caden
Dawson now. All right, Rick, you go ahead and do the play-by-play. I'm going to grab my phone. This is the kid where I'm going to go stand in the other batter's box and just going to video his swing. Watch this kid's sweet swing. Dawson, a ground out victim, his first time up here today. Oh, my son would love that number, too.
You know what I noticed from a lot of these hitters, they're quiet. What I mean by that, you don't see a lot of movement with the bat. They're just kind of standing there.
Yep.
And that's with both teams. They're quiet.
Dawson on base twice in our first game of the day. Scored 2 runs, swiped 2 bases, played in a run as well. Lefty fouls it off. Now back to a 2-2 count. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2-0 ball game, bottom of the third.
You know, the more the batter keeps fouling pitches off, the more the advantage leans towards him. Seeing more pitches, the release point many times from the pitcher, these long battles favor the hitter.
Estevez kicks in 5. 3-2. Righty deals lefty. Good battle. Boy, what a good battle.
It's that sweet swing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Darn lefties.
Darn lefties. You know, one thing I noticed from Dawson is he just doesn't, 2 strikes, 1 no strikes, he doesn't change his stance or his approach at all. Right now, if you're calling pitches, you're just kind of scratching your head. You're like, I don't know what I can throw this guy.
It's one of those at-bats where if Dawson reaches, you draw a little star next to it because it might turn into something. This could be a 2-out rally. Got him. Jaden Estevez says, not this time. Swinging strikeout becomes the 3rd strikeout of the ball game for Estevez. And 1-2-3 for the first time today. Go the East Cobb Astros orange from the state of Georgia. Stays at 2-0 through 3. Back at the Elizabethtown Sports Park. Elizabethtown, Kentucky. If you've never been out here, as someone who's here for the very first time, I would certainly recommend it. It's a beautiful area, just south of Louisville, north of Bowling Green. Josiah Morris, Logan Schmidt, Max Lopez. Visitors half of the fourth inning. We've reached the midway point of the national championship game. For those of you, again, the uninitiated, maybe just tuning in for the very first time, if the boys in orange win this ball game here, they will be the national champions. They are the undefeated team inside of bracketed tournament play. Meanwhile, the men from California, ZT Elite Garcia, they have to win this game and another to be crowned national champions. One thing you can't do if you're one of those boys in blue is think about the length of the road when you start this day. You can't think, well, we've got to win, 4 ball games, because that's how they started their day, thinking they had to win 4 ball games to be the national champions. That's not what you can do.
Can be the mindset they've got. I know it's an old adage, which it's got to take one game at a time, and you got to get one before you can get 2.
Foul.
And as a coach, you can't play for that 4th game. You've got to treat this one like it's the last one. You got to go with your best pitchers. You got to go with your best lineup, and just take it from there.
Figure out what you've got to do when you get in that spot where you've got to figure out what you've got to do.
Live for the moment. Live for the moment. Live for the now.
Got him. Called strike 3, outside corner. Morris has gone on strikes. You will still see guys do that, though, by the way. I'm not trying to be a smart aleck or call out any coaches, but you still will see guys do that.
Sure.
They'll save a pitcher.
Oh,
well, we'll use him here. We're gonna need somebody here, so I'll save him. And sometimes you don't get to that spot, or by the time you get there, you're in a hole.
It's happened this week. I've talked to a couple of coaches. Said, you know what? I made a mistake. I didn't pitch my number 1. I tried to get by with my number 4. And they probably can do that on a normal weekend basis, but not here.
Not here.
And it jumped up and bit them.
So Schmidt, Logan, the first baseman, with a strikeout in his only plate appearance. High pop out of play. The advantage, of course, of staying undefeated, the road is so much shorter to the national championship. East Cobb, of course, is now just playing in their 5th game of bracketed play for the week, to right and deep, and the shutout is gone. Logan Schmidt with a solo home run. California's on the board at 2-1.
Biggest thing in a game like this is you got to break the ice, and they've done that. They broke through with a run. Now see if we'll carry that momentum for them and see how DeBrant responds to that. Again, he's not used to getting hit like that, especially giving up home runs. So, we're in a 2-1 ball game. Still plenty of time left.
Logan Schmidt now, by the way, 3 for his last 4 with that solo home run, an RBI double, a single. Let me start over now. 3 for his last 4. He does have a strikeout, his first at-bat of this ball game. But Schmidt now with a solo home run, a double, a single, 2 runs scored, and 2 RBI. So it's been a good last couple of games for Logan Schmidt. And here's Max Lopez. Max delivered the first hit of the ball game for California. His single led off the second. Again, the benefits of staying undefeated in the bracket. This is only the 5th game. It's only the 5th game of the tournament. East Cobb won 15-0 over Indiana Bulls Black in their opener. Then took out Phipps Park SF Bulldogs of Florida 12-1. That's a good team, that Phipps Park team, underrated. They had a relatively early exit in this tournament, to the surprise of many. Banditos Black was the next victim for the boys from Georgia, 7-4. That was an all-timer type matchup as far as name recognition. Then came their first game of the day today, 8 a.m. here on Field 5. That 8-7 come from behind, 5-run bottom of the final inning, walk-off win. Meanwhile, again, the road has been far more long and winding for California. Won their opener 10-9 over Kangaroo Court American, a team out of the state of Florida. Then 13-3 on 5-Star Elite, really good program out of Florida. 13-3 the final. They lost their first game of the week against the Texas-Florida Canes Elite program, 9-3 the final in that one. That forced them into the elimination bracket, where they were able to take out Canes Piro 17-0, a club out of North Carolina. Defeated 5-Star Elite 5-4, and then got revenge on Canes Elite 7-6. The last two wins coming this morning. A walk to Lopez. So DeBrant finally showing some chinks in the armor.
Yeah, it's the fourth inning now. You would think, though, with the heat here shouldn't bother because there's no humidity. I mean, being from Georgia, he's got to be used to it. But the problem, though, Chris, with the Astros, I was talking to their coach back in Georgia, they play a lot of 3-4 inning games because the score's 15-0 after 3 or 4 innings, and their games are over. So for them to have to play complete games is not very common for these guys. And, maybe a little stamina might come into play here.
Ho'okola! Foul ball down the right field line. Zane Ho'okola, a strikeout victim back in the second inning. He'd love to have a hit here with Lopez down at the first base bag. By the way, Max Lopez at the first base bag, the only man to reach twice in this affair for California. 3 hits and 1 walk offensively for ZT Elite. That's going to be it for DeBrant.
As he's walking off, the young man gets a hug and a congratulatory high five from Jose Contreras. Again, we talked about that. I just don't know if the kids understand how big that is to have Contreras over there on that bench.
Tell you what we'll do, we'll take an audio break and come back with the details on the new hurler in just a moment. Just write that down real quick. Now where's that home plate chili dogs? Zane Hoakola at the plate. Change has been made. Matthew Westbrook is the new man on the mound for East Cobb, and he starts his appearance with a strike.
DeBrunt did a great job out there for East Cobb. Went three and a third innings. He's responsible for the runner at first, but you can't ask no more than what he gave you today.
Had 5 strikeouts. Speaking of strikeouts, 2 men gone in the inning. Credit for that strikeout, by the way, will go to Westbrook. Here's Jaden Estevez. A ground ball at short. Step on the bag, and that will be the inning. Contreras scooped that one up, stayed within himself with a runner bearing down on top of him. He was able to beat Lopez to the bag, and that will be the frame. But not before a solo home run off the bat of Logan Schmidt gets ZT Elite Garcia from California on the board. 2-1. Bottom of the 4th is next on Travel Ball Select's Facebook site. So top half of the 4th inning, California gets a run back and cuts the deficit in half, and that's where we sit at 2-1. Estevez starts ball 1 to Vaughn Howard. It'll be Howard, Calvo, Cutshaw. The law firm of Howard, Calvo, and Cutshaw. Let us represent you today.
Does sound like a law firm.
It really does. Howard tripled to deliver the first hit of the ball game for either club. He was stranded at the third base bag as Estevez came back to get a strikeout to end that frame. It's been a good old-fashioned baseball game today, folks. Nip and tuck. Some really tremendous offense, but not an overbearing amount. Some very good pitching, but has not dominated the affair to the point of, where we've got 15 strikeouts, 16 strikeouts in the game, and we have had some amazing defense.
With the exception of Cavo. Cavo was dominant.
No, just today. Just in this ball game right here.
In this game here.
Yeah. But you're right. Calvo was dominant until they had to lift him out of the ball game. Or decided to lift him.
We've seen, in our first 2 broadcasts, we've seen 2 one-run games.
Yep.
And we're in the middle of a 1-1 game right here. That goes to the testament of the level of competition that you see here at the Travel Ball National Championships. Just an outstanding baseball games. And that's what those teams come here to do, is to play games like that. Win or lose, the one-run games are what these teams are looking for.
To right and deep, break out the tape measure. That one may have cleared the tree in right center field. forward now, halfway towards the cycle. It's 3-1.
Well, I tell you, you have no doubters in baseball, and this one was one of those no doubters. As soon as it leaves the bat, he knows it. Everybody in the park knows it. The outfielder, the left fielder didn't even move. The center fielder gave an obligatory move that way, but that ball was well over the right center field fence and over the tree.
And oh, by the way, that was a fastball on the outside corner at the letters from a guy who has some pretty good giddy-up. I got into a debate about this, it's probably about a month ago now, maybe a month and a half ago, with a broadcasting colleague of mine. And we were debating whether or not hitters at all levels, big league all the way down to youth ball, better or worse at hitting high fastballs than they used to be. Better or worse? I'd love to hear your opinion on this.
As an overall, I think they're worse. Overall, because the high fastball is a tool that you use because the hitter can see the baseball. It's hard to get on top of a high fastball. Now, if you do and you're able to, it's a big reward. Chances are it's going to be a home run. But I would be almost willing to bet that the overall batting averages on a high fastball is probably pretty low. And I don't think there's very much success there. What was your take on it?
Agreed.
Yeah.
That's where I was. Here's Carson Calvo, by the way, 0 for 1. His strikeout ended the first inning. Well, simply the answer is batting averages and the ability to try to launch, or the want to launch everything, and I do mean everything.
Sure.
Has led guys to swing at fastballs that are higher and farther or further. Which one's right? Farther or further out of the strike zone? Whatever the case may be. And guys are throwing so much harder now that it's harder to catch up with that high fastball.
Well, and that's the point I was trying to make when I referred to getting on top of it.
Yeah.
Basically, that's just a fancy term for catching up to it.
Right.
You know, it's something that you struggle. But as a hitter, when you see that high fastball coming in, it's a visual thing. You can see it. It looks good. It looks as big as a beach ball, but you can't get on top of it.
And it's
consistently.
Always, right, yes,
Consistently.
right. And that's the point of the conversation, right.
You know, you get those big, strong guys, you know, like back in the day, maybe like a Barry Bonds or a David Ortiz, and even today you're talking about a Vlad Guerrero. Those guys can hop on it once in a while.
He make that catch? Yes, he did. Another tremendous defensive play in center field by Rosano.
Boy, I tell you, that catch by Rosano, that's two magnificent plays for that young man out there. What a catch. That is unbelievable. Well, it looks like Coach Etheridge has challenged this play. On the catch. And
He's cracking me up.
Yeah, my guess is I think he just wanted to challenge one. He didn't get to challenge one the first game.
He just wanted to have one to challenge.
I think he just wanted to be able to do it.
Just to be able to say that he did.
Just to be able to say he did
well,
it.
You know,
he didn't want to take him home with him in his pocket, so he's going to challenge the play and see if we've got a catch here.
Well, some of the ZT Elite faithful were giving him a little bit of a hard time. And so he started going back and forth with him in the crowd in a playful way now, in a playful way.
Sure.
I'll take you even further back, and this will really dip into your you're just a shade older than I am, and I don't mean that in a smart alecky way. But no, really. I mean, you're just a shade. We have conversations about old baseball whenever we get together once a year to do this.
Yeah.
Or twice a year back in the old days. George Foster was the king of hitting a high fastball and putting that thing out of the park, and you just don't see as much of it as you used to anymore.
Well, you know, different day. I don't think the players back then threw as hard as they do today. You know, it's a lot more velocity than they were back then.
Now, we had a great angle at it, and I think we both believe that this is a catch from Rosano. I mean, that was literally right here in front of us. Well, angle-wise.
Angle-wise, sure.
Yeah, because it was in center field 230 feet from us. Could be a big call, however. just like his last catch. Remember, Rosano made that catch on the ball that was hit by Hayes McGinnis.
Well, the crowd, I think, is seeing the same replay that we're seeing, and
they're giving it to him.
They're giving it to him here. This is probably going to be a catch here. We got to wait for the official word to come back out. But there's a little history there that you might not know. Wes is originally from Southern California. He spent the first 50 years of his life out in Southern California. He retired from UPS. His son lives in Georgia, and he moved out to be near his grandkids. So Wes is well known in the Southern California area. So that a lot of those people probably know him, and they're giving him a hard time. So if you're wondering where the play did stand, the catch, it's an out.
So that'll be the first out of the inning. Rosano has just made another tremendous defensive play. Again, it follows a home run, by the way.
And honestly, I think Etheridge just wanted some TV time, some face time.
Yeah, after talking to him earlier, I can see that's totally what it is.
Yeah.
Ground ball at third and past a diving third baseman into left field for a base hit. William Cutshaw on with one man out. So a solo home run from Vaughn Howard to start the inning, pushing the lead to 3-1. A fly out into center, Calvo is robbed by Rosano. And now William Cutshaw has just delivered his second hit in as many at-bats, both singles. And he's on with one man out, and here's Jude Harris, whom, well, the last time we saw Jude, he rifled a ball out to right center field for a 2-run home run.
His hit right now is the difference in this game. It looks like we're going to have a pitching change here. Coach Garcia is going to make a move.
That'll be the end of a great day here today for Jaden Estevez. Remember, Estevez, the man who came in their last ball game, the elimination ball game against Canes Elite of Texas, Florida, closed down that ball game and now started this ball game, and he has held one of the great offenses in America in the 12U classification to just 5 hits and 3 runs.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to make that comment. There's not many pitchers in the country that could do this to this East Cobb Astros offense team. I would literally say he scattered 5 hits. That's one of my favorite terminologies to be used in the baseball world. He scattered 5 hits in 4 innings, gave up 3 runs to a team that's got to be averaging 15, 16 runs a game. So no reason for that young man to shake his head. A great outing and a great performance. Keep his team in it. Give him a chance. And as a coach, that's all you can do. You can ask these kids, hey, just keep us in the ball game to give us a chance to battle in the end. And that's what he did today.
The book is not closed, of course, on Estevez, as the runner down at first belongs to him still. But for now, it'll go as 3 1/3 innings pitched, where he's given up, of course, 3 earned runs, 5 hits, did not walk a man, and has 3 strikeouts. But again, he's still on the hook for the man down at the first base bag. Now, the new man on the mound, charged with trying to keep this at just a 3-1 game, is David Domingo. Not the first time that we've seen David here on Field 5 today. Maybe the first time we've seen him pitch. Yes, indeed. We've not seen him pitch here on Field 5, but he did have one at-bat here in their last game on Field 5, that walk-off victory, or that last at-bat victory, where he was 0 for 1 with a strikeout. And so now we'll get Jude Harris, I beg your pardon, Jude Harris.
Let's go.
4 comes set, and 22 waits in the box. And it's rifled right back at him into center field for a base hit. Cutshaw will stop at the second base bag. Jude Harris is swinging a very hot bat right now. That, I will go out on a limb and tell you, was one of the more hard-hit balls we have seen, at least on the ground here today.
Yeah, that ball was rifled back up the middle. These pitchers are only 50 feet away, so that ball will come right back at the pitcher pretty quick.
Here's Westbrook now. Started with ball 1. Westbrook's first at-bat of the ball game. Could be his first at-bat of the day. Let me double check that. Indeed it is. He took over for Jose Dubrat, who started the ball game, finishes at the plate 0-4-1. And now Westbrook chops one down to the third base bag. They'll try to tag the runner. I missed the call from the umpire. It gets through the first baseman. One run has scored. Second runner stumbles. Now he'll have to retreat back to the third base bag. 4-1 game.
I'm not sure that the third baseman tagged him on that play.
No, they let it go. Wait a minute.
Yeah, I think he missed the tag. He missed the tag because I know Coach Garcia's out there. He's kind of looking at his player. The player thinks he tagged him, but I don't believe he tagged him.
Well, I was thinking the same thing. They haven't changed the scoreboard. We might need to find out. There it is, 4-1. The run did score.
We've got 3 umpires for this game, so that gives us an umpire that's right on top of that play.
Hayes McGinnis, a ground ball to short. Throw across the diamond for the out. McGinnis is not happy with that out. Run comes from the third base bag, or stays at the third base bag, by the way. No. My mistake. The run does come home from third. It'll be a 5-1 game now. And Austin Neese to the plate now. So McGinnis does plate the run on the ground out. We talked about Hayes a little bit earlier and how his older brother was a highly decorated high school football player and a baseball player, I believe, as well. Their middle brother apparently has a championship as well in this tournament, winning a 13U championship back in 2019, a few years ago.
Yeah, they won it with the home plate chili dogs that we talked about earlier. Home plate chili dogs, Searcy out of Atlanta.
All comes back around, doesn't it?
Yeah, South Atlanta. We talked about them earlier, and his brother won it 2 years ago. So, the little brother has got a chance to do something that the middle brother did, and I'm sure there's a lot of banter back and forth.
Oh, runner is coming to the plate. Oh, my goodness. He decided to take the roundabout swing to the slide to the plate. I'm going to tell you something. If he attacks the plate, I think he may score there. One way or another, he's tagged out at the plate, and that will be the inning. It'll stay at 5-1. 3 score in the inning. You know what? He is going to call for a second replay. This inning is not over, so let's keep it here.
We're going to keep it right here. He's going to request for a replay for this one here, and we're going to come up and we're going to take a look at it. There's going to be a good look at it right here.
Oh, baby. They might have a beef.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at it here. He's going to come up here, and we're going to see what we can.
It's close. One thing we know for sure is it is very, very close. Whether safe or out. Now the umpires come under the tent here behind us to take the official look.
Hands in there. Talk to me.
Oh.
They can't be right everywhere. You guys ain't that. I like reviewing it.
Well, they're taking a nice long look at this one, as they should. We want to make sure we get the call right.
That's a big run. It's a very big run. As opposed to 5-1, it could be 6-1 and the innings continuing. Big difference between a 4 and a 5-run deficit.
Yeah, the inning stays alive here.
Or lead.
So, yeah, this is the big run in this game here.
Where is his hand when the tag is applied? That will be what they're looking for.
Let's go. Hands in.
Oh, boy.
Well, we've got a decision. We don't know what they decided. We're going to find out just like everybody else does when they go out on the field.
Hey guys, get in the dugout.
They've taken a look at it now, and just like everybody else in the crowd, we got to sit here and wait to see what they're going to decide, because they didn't give us an inclination one way or another what the call is going to be. So we got to wait for the umpire to make his way back to the field, and he's going to inform everybody here what we've got.
Nice was at the plate.
Oh no, third was pretty honest. Yeah, he's out. But we saw that one easy. He had make it like a potato.
So we got it out. They talked about it on there that it was inconclusive. The word we got now that it was really inconclusive. They couldn't really tell if the hand was in the air. Even though a man looked like it touched the plate, we don't know if it was in the air or anything like that. So the call stands, the out stands, and we're going to move on with the next play here and move on to the top of the inning.
Well, that was a big out and a big inning for the East Cobb Astros from the state of Georgia. 3 in the frame, now a 5-1 lead. Well, the ultimate game of inches, and that's what we had that last inning. A fine defensive play, a couple of balls that skirted past gloves, and of course, the big call at the plate that ended the inning as the state of Georgia had a man gunned down right at the plate, keeping them from scoring a 4th run in the frame, a 6th run overall. But 3 men do cross in the inning. And again, it's 5-1 now. The East Cobb Astros are effectively 6 outs away from the national title.
Yeah, the word we got on that play was it was inconclusive. And we've told both coaches that during the replay process, we've got 3 camera angles that we can look at. If we can't determine for sure, 100% for sure of what's going on, then the call has to stand. And that's kind of the word we got from those guys. There was some question whether his hand was still in the air as it looked like it was going over the plate. And so therefore it becomes inconclusive and the call has to stand on the field.
Eric Zadunik fouls one right side and out of play. Zadunik 0 for 1 so far in the day. His strikeout ended the 2nd inning.
So the big thing now is the Astros are out of challenges. They've used them both.
That's right.
So if there's another play from this point forward, they cannot challenge.
4 men have reached. Only 4 men have reached for California. Got a single out of Lopez in the 2nd. to lead off the inning. He was stranded. Got a one-out double from Martinez in the third. He was stranded. Then the solo home run from Schmidt and the walk to Lopez last inning.
Hey, great at bat. Hey, you gotta stay within yourself.
The difference between 2 half innings. Solo home run and then a walk. California had it cooking. They were down just 2-1. But then a big strikeout and a ground out. Now this one past the center fielder Washington into the wall. But Zadunik will decide to pull up at the first base bag. The leadoff man is aboard in the 5th.
Again, the difference between the teams that we're watching now than the Texas Florida Canes from earlier. That ball's a double all day long, or they're going to try to make it a double.
Or yeah,
they're going to attempt.
That's either a double or somebody thrown out at second.
Thrown out at second base. They're going to put the pressure on you.
Couldn't check a swing. Looks like Aaron Garcia's being pinch hit for. Derek Kim. Yeah, Derek Kim. Aaron Garcia. His day might be over at 0 for 1 with a strikeout.
Nice job. Nice job to keep the runner at first base. You know, the old adage for catchers is, you know, you catch the ball in the air and you block anything that's in the dirt. And, you know, these kids do a nice job overall of trying to remember that.
Stays high.
Let's go, Derek. Let's go, buddy. Come on.
2 balls, 2 strikes. 1 on, no out. Didn't offer.
Right here is a great advantage of the umpires right here, having 3 of them. Normally you just have a man in the B slot for that, but now we've got one at first base to go on the check swing here.
Got him. Now Martinez. Zion doubled back in the 3rd inning. His only other plate appearance. California would love that here. Know some of you may be watching for the first time. Travel Ball Select. Don't go anywhere. This game's a long, long way from over. California with 5 outs to play with. I would imagine we're not close to the time limit. High chop at second. Get the tag on the lead runner. Nice smart play by the second baseman. Although I would have preferred the flip, but I understand why you don't do that. I think coaches more times than not will tell you, look, if you can make the tag, you go on and make it. That way you're not involving another player in the tossing of the baseball.
If we watch on the replay, he does it just right. He holds the ball, secures it with 2 hands, and he turns away with the runner instead of staying in the runner, correct, until the possibility of the ball flying out. We saw that earlier at the plate where the catcher did not turn with him and the ball come loose.
Yes, we did. No doubt you can hear the wind and the way it's picked up. Once again, here's Rosano. Rosano, if you've not been with us throughout this ball game, has made 2 of the top defensive plays for the entire week of the championships, just in this one ball game. A chopper at first. Stay with it. Taking himself. Out number 3. A big scoreless inning there for the boys from Georgia. A leadoff single. And then a strikeout, a fielder's choice, and the first baseman retires unassisted, I beg your pardon. Stays a 4-run game. Austin Neese to lead things off in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Astros defensively 3 outs away from a national title. With a 4-run lead, they'd love to add to it. Neese 0 for 1 with a fly out. As is Jose Contreras, the man on deck. High drive, deep right. I say they'd love to add to their lead, and they just did. Four home runs in their last 2 ball games here on Field 5. And the East Cobb Astros with a 5-run lead can smell the blood in the water now.
Yeah, any run that gets added on here is just a huge, huge bonus and a huge cushion for Coach Etheridge and the Astros here coming up. The deficit just got bigger for ZT and Coach Garcia coming up in the 6th inning.
Might be too early for the conversation, Rick, but I got to bring it up, mainly because I just remembered. Admittedly. Contreras, as I mentioned a moment ago, 0 for 1 with a flyout. Tested the left fielder, lost that battle back in the 3rd. Then we'll be back to the top of the order. East Cobb wins this championship here. They'll finish at 9-0 overall. Right now, they've outscored their opponents 119 to 14. In pool play, they outscored their opponents 71 to 1. En route to a 4-0 perfect pool play record.
And talking to Coach Etheridge all year, he has definitely emphasized that his pitching is superior, more so than his hitting.
A walk to Contreras. And you mentioned their record touring during the quote-unquote regular season. Of course, that's not really what it is, but you all know what I mean out there. Just 2 losses.
2 losses. 2 losses. They lost once in mid-May. They didn't lose until mid-May.
First of all, that's
right.
Yeah.
They rolled off 44, 45 straight victories. They came to the TBS event that we hosted in the Shipyard down in South Carolina and lost to a fine line drive black team out of Southern Georgia, 7-6 in that game. And then Memorial Weekend, they went down to Florida and they lost to the other semifinalists here, to the 5-star elite team.
Yep.
They lost down in Georgia to that team, and that's it, or in Florida, Memorial Weekend. That's their only 2 losses of the year.
Is this an all-timer? This East Cobb team? Is this an all-timer?
Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's good, but last year at the 12-year-old age level, Texas Canes,
I remember.
they actually ended up winning 100 games, went 100-0 last year. Didn't lose. And then you got to go back about 6-7 years ago to a team out of Texas, the Banditos.
Oh, I know the Banditos well. I called that championship, absolutely.
They rolled off 155 straight wins at one point. So, but what the Astros did this year was still impressive.
Absolutely. Malachi Washington, by the way, was pinch hit there. Yeah, that was Cole Crawford. I beg your pardon for not spotting that earlier. Crawford after the strikeout 0 for 1. Malachi Washington finished 0 for 1. Here's Caden Dawson. Dawson 0 for 2 in the ball game so far. A ground out and a strikeout. Was it Banditos that won back-to-back titles in age groups?
No.
In 11 and 12.
No, wasn't them.
I'll have to go back and look through my old files and all that because
After 10 years, it all runs together.
yeah, well, I know, yeah. Solo home run from Nice to start the inning. A walk by Contreras followed. Now the out just a moment ago from Crawford, pinch hitting. Dawson looking to put together another battling at bat, which we've seen a good deal from him here today.
Yeah, he had one in his last at bat. He probably seen 10 pitches in that at bat.
The 0 for 2 does not reflect the day he's had.
There's that high fastball you were talking about right at the letters, and disciplined enough to stay off and lay off of that one.
Yep. Well, a left-hander facing a right-hander, so he gets a longer look at it.
Because, as we documented, lefties cheat with everything
That's
they do.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Dawson have his wrist tape?
Yeah.
I love it, kid.
Yeah.
This guy's becoming one of my favorite players this week. I was one of those guys when I played Man Alive. You had to hide the tape roll from me. I'm telling you.
You know, in today's world, and we talked about it earlier, social media influences on these kids. The things they see from the older players, they all want to emulate.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's wrist tape or wearing the oven mitts now and stealing bases, to the thing that drives me crazy, which is the bat flips. And things
does
that
it?
go on.
You better be careful now. You're going to alienate half of our audience talking about it. I don't even give my opinion on it anymore, Rick. I really don't. Domingo got to check out of the ball game, come off the mound for the boys in blue. We're going to have ourselves a pitching change. We'll take an audio break. Give Rick a chance to tell us behind the scenes how much he hates the bat flips. That way he doesn't get back on the air here in a few minutes and upset half of our audience. It's not worth it, Rick. It's just not worth it.
Well, I'm telling you, they all listen to our podcast, which is a lineup, and it was a topic about 3 weeks ago. So our audience knows how I feel about the bat flips, and I'm not against kids getting excited. But there's a right way and a wrong way.
Hey, I don't disagree with anything you're saying. I'm just telling you. I've given up the. I mean, again, I cover a lot of youth sports, and I get into these debates. Yeah. And there's just it just is.
Today's society, I'm going to lose the argument, but I'm still going to argue.
6-1 ball game. We'll be back in just a moment. Jacob Oropeza greeted rudely. Gone.
And that's the ball game.
It is indeed.
That'll do it.
The run roll is 8 after 5, and the East Cobb Astros Orange have just won the national championship on a 3-run home run, which will push the lead to 9-8 and win it on the mercy rule. 9-1. The lead is 8, pushing the score to 9-1. I beg your pardon. I misspoke, of course. Oh, my goodness. What a way for it to end. Wow. Vaughn Howard hits his second home run in as many at-bats. Howard will end the day with a 3-run homer, a solo homer, and a triple. So he scores twice, drives in 4, hits 2 home runs, and man alive, what a day that young man had as he scored 2 runs in the first game as well.
Boy, we didn't see that coming. That kind of snuck up on us out of the blue. This whole game was just a battle. And then before you know it, the game was over.
Yep, absolutely. Well, congratulations to both of these clubs. ZT Elite Garcia out of the state of California will be disappointed with that finish, but they have nothing to hang their heads about. It's a top flight team, a national championship caliber team. It's just that today was not their day.
That's right. Today was not their day. Nothing to be ashamed of.
No.
The boys flew from California all the way out here to compete in the best 12-year-old tournament in the entire country in 2021. And the champions are going to be the East Cobb Astros, the #1 team of the country going in, and they're #2, and that's the way it ended right here.
Meanwhile, congratulations to East Cobb's Astros Orange from the state of Georgia. The Empire State of the South has another youth baseball championship to its credit, and it belongs to the 12U class from East Cobb. For our entire crew here at the Elizabethtown Sports Complex, including Amy Walker, Patrick Glory, Sherry Lynn Fiveash, and of course, Rick Goff. I'm Chris Mooneyham. Thanks for joining us on Travel Ball Select's Facebook page.
First, we would like to present this to ZT Elite California. Great job, ZT. Coach, if you could holler out their names.
Yeah, Bear. Yeah, Bear. Yeah, Bear. You ain't never leave them. Get your boy, dog.
Young Stewart, Aaron Garcia, Zion Martinez. One more round of applause for ZT Elite. And now for your 2021 TBS National Champion, the East Cobb Astros. Where are we at? Calvo. Dawson. Hoot. Westbrook. Howard. Alford. Contreras. Can't say his last name. Shoot. McGinnis. Washington. Cuddy. We need a couple more. Gannis. Sports. Lee. Good. One more round of applause for the East Cobb Astros.